Hello, Dr. Nicola with Pura Vida, and I wanted to talk to you today about dealing properly, in my opinion, with autoimmunity. I have a patient who I've worked with on and off for a lot of years, and at the end of last summer, she was diagnosed with an autoimmune joint condition, and the diagnosis specifically has changed, and the latest one that we're working with is rheumatoid arthritis. So we've been doing a variety of injections, with homeopathics and B vitamins and all sorts of stuff, and some supplements, high dose fish oil, high dose turmeric, ginger, that sort of thing. And then she's been working with a rheumatologist as well, and recently started prednisone and methotrexate, which, as you may or may not know, are a couple of heavy hitter medications. So I was checking in with her a few weeks back, and she was saying, still kind of up and down. The pain is all, it can be, in a variety of joints, and can really impact her quality of life, her ability to move freely in the world, her ability to motivate, to take care of herself, exercise, that sort of thing. So we sat down for just a moment, and I was like, autoimmunity always, it doesn't matter how it presents. With myself, I worked through Hashimoto's, rheumatoid arthritis, diabetes, any number of autoimmune conditions that we can talk about. But the crux of it always is our relationship to ourselves. And when I said this to her, she's a tough gal, this one. And when I mentioned that autoimmunity and how we talk to ourselves and our relationship with ourselves, she just nodded and she goes, I've always really pushed myself, and that's how I get my value. And I was like, well, if you want, we can dive a little deeper into that, and we can look at clearing that out of your system, or at least find out where that's stemming from. So she came in this week and had a session, a mind body session. And incredibly long story short, we got to her 6-year-old part, that when she was 6, her mother came down with an illness, and she was told by her dad that she had to take care of her mom. Dad was working. There was 2 of them, 2 kids in the house, and he just didn't have time, space, or capacity to deal with it. So he offered it to his 6-year-old. So in comes this hyper-developed part that takes on a high sense of responsibility. And that 6-year-old that wanted to play and run and have a good time really didn't get to. And so fast forward 60 years, and that hyper-responsible part is still very much living within her, as is that 6-year-old part, who has come to really resent being responsible and following through and pushing through. And so anyway, we just really got to the crux of it. Tears are streaming down as she's reconnecting with the 6-year-old part of her that wants to teach her about fun and joy and balance. And it turned out that hyper responsibility part resented the responsibility as well. And so they were actually so much closer than they thought they were. So there was this beautiful connection between what had happened in childhood, this understanding of how she came to prioritize everybody else's needs above her own, and then also have no room to run and play. And so as we're integrating this part, and there's all this self-love and deep heart connection happening between this woman and these parts of herself, I can't even put it into words how beautiful it was to be a witness to this experience, and how meaningful and how light I could actually watch her face change, her countenance. And as we completed the session, we did our thing, and she was like, well, hang on a second. And she moves her arms, and she has full rotation for the first time in months. And her pain has dropped significantly in an hour and 15 minutes, maybe something like that. And it was miraculous. And she was like, I feel totally different in my body. And it was, how can this be? And it's because when we are carrying something in our nervous system, it is keeping that nervous system triggered on a physiological sense. Absolutely. So we have the inflammatory pathways stimulated and all that sort of thing. But also there's more of an energetic and a vibrational level happening as well. And that's where things can start moving really, really quickly on an energetic plane. So when we show up for these parts of ourselves that have been burdened, have been abandoned, have been saddled with a lot of responsibility at a very young age, and we show up and we help them unburden themselves and be free and go do what they want to do. And we actually start making room for them in all their wisdom and their gifts that they bring. And we bring these parts. There's so much cohesion. It just creates this spontaneous healing thing that in the energetic body can clear things in an instant. Now, sometimes because this physical body is much, much denser than our energetic and spiritual bodies, sometimes the physical body needs a little bit more linear time to catch up. But really, we can move out of these diagnoses and pathways and patterns especially the ones that we've been told can never be shifted, or this is a diagnosis that you have and now you have it for life. I know I was told that with my autoimmune condition, and that is not the case according to my labs anymore. There is possibility to move out of this if we are willing to look under the rug and see what it is that our system keeps tripping over. And it is as simple as showing up with compassion and open-heartedness and welcoming that, which really integrates it into the system. And that allows that disease process to fall away because we no longer need it to bring our attention. But I'll tell you, at the end of the session, I was like, what a gift this past 4 months has been for this person, but then also for me, to walk through what many of us would perceive as intense suffering, a lot of pain, a total lifestyle shift, kind of a limited life sentence. We now our life gets to be really, really small because we don't have access to physical movement in the way that we did a few months prior. But we don't have to live with any of that. It's the body's gift. It's the body's way of saying, I've been carrying this long enough, and now I'm manifesting a symptom, usually physical symptoms or maybe mental health symptoms, but I'm manifesting something that is bringing your awareness in order so that we can clear it because we're ready. So if you're ready to jump in, I do have a Foundations and Health group starting in January. You can find more information about that on my website, puravitahealthcare.com, or the link is below, either in the comments or the bio, depending on where you're watching this. And I would love for you to join us. Once a month, we will be talking about a variety of health topics. I have some topics laid out for the year, and we'll meet once a month on Tuesday afternoons around 5:15 Mountain Time, and we will dive in. But any questions that you have, anything that you want to explore is fair game. You can bring all your questions. You can send them to me beforehand. You can bring them live with me in session, and we are going to really start transmuting because, man, this is what we're being called into right now. So I hope to see you there. Thanks so much for joining, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.